A bit more pressure comes on them. They'll work it out again.
So there's Nathan Sharp, who's been prolific in the line-out. That's his 5th line-out win. And Larkham forced onto his left boot by the pass. Albanese straight into George Gregan. Argentina now with their opportunity. They're trailing by 14 on the scoreboard. Sitting at the back of Albanese. That's Roberto Grau. And crunching defence from Bill Young again. Well, he was driven into the ground and driven backwards by Bill Young. The Australians with looks of disbelief after doing all that hard work. Vickerman assisting.
I think he's saying, hey, we went down in the tackle. I was tackling, and he was attached to the tackler. How can that be considered going over the top? Referee incorrect. He was unsighted, came around and got sucked in.
Who'd be a referee?
Especially a New Zealand one.
Well, that was a perplexing decision.
You're a cruel man, Dad.
George Gregan there trying to get an explanation off Paul Honus. It's good to see George not back-chatting to him and just listening.
That was a legitimate gang tackle. So Contepomi. Can he close the gap? He's missed 2 tonight. Not happening.
And I think you'd have to say by that decision to take the 3 points that Argentina are still looking for that bonus point. They need a bonus point if they get within 7 points of the Wallabies, and it's going to be very important in this pool of death with Ireland there as well.
I think the Wallabies got off lightly there. They're procrastinating. Get on and do something positive. And this, the same thing for Argentina. Don't kick this ball away.
Nunes PSX kick. Well taken by Corletto, the fullback. Argentina on the attack again here. Martin. Contepomi. Ledesma. There's Dan Vickerman with a body hug tackle. Now Longo takes it ahead. 22 metres out from the Wallaby goal line. Contepomi, advantage here for Argentina. Little knock-on spotted by referee Honus. So it's still Australia in the lead by 17-3, and problems here for Corletto. And he appeared to cop a stray leg or knee there from one of his teammates. Ignacio Corletto getting a knock in the face. It looks like a stint in the blood bin for him.
Usually hurts a little bit more when it's one of your own teammates too.
Juan Hernandez now on the field, the 21-year-old whose sister Maripi was an Olympic silver hockey medalist here at Sydney 2000 with the Argentine team. Argentina playing in the hockey gold medal playoff against the Hockey Roos.
You can see through the possession statistic that's now evened up at about 50% all. But Argentina are just frustrating the Wallabies. They've got to get up into that other gear. They tell us they've got it. They've done the hard physical work. But it seems that the Pumas are the ones that are just grinding away.
Again, Longo is the money man for Argentina, but Australia drive ahead initially. Argentina come back. Coming now for the Pumas. Looking to get another rumble going here.
I don't think they're going to give the backs a sniff of this.
Australia have to stay disciplined here. Don't give away another penalty and look to force a mistake.
Taken ahead by Fernandez Lobe. Now the backs get their chance, but it's slow, static ball. Flatley was the tackler.
Leave it 6, leave it.
Albacete again. Longo. Martin, very strong, experienced player. Roberto Grau supports. Fernandez Lobe. Contepomi.
They had to come back inside. They were outnumbered, the Argentinians. They had the advantage, yet they didn't have the numbers out wide.
Albanese, the Argentine winger, is that far over on the other wing, waiting to try and get the ball. He's waving. I think he looks like someone from the crowd. He's that far over.
He's sitting in the front row of the stand.
Well, Argentina had it for 7 phases there and went nowhere.
A quick stinger on the shoulder or elbow for Dan Vickerman. Sees him trying to get it working again.
Corletto back on, replacing Hernandez. And Dan Vickerman, but still only one substitute for Australia, Dan Vickerman so far.
Australia have got to get, at the moment, they're saying, hey, we've got a bit of a lead. They look like they've just put their backs on the rope and just saying, just have a go at us. We'll just play it nice and easy. This is the time they've got 20 minutes to go in this opening game. They've got to be ruthless. They've got to be clinical. They've got to put these Argentinians away because they've got to be looking for bigger fish down the track. They've got to be hard on themselves.
Great scrum.
David Lyons taking it 6 metres. Here's Larkham now. Low trajectory. And another brilliant touch finder from Stephen Larkham, who's been working out 4 times a week with kicking coach Ben Perkins. That's Coffs Harbour.
That's a better structured play from the Wallabies to get out of their 22. Well done, Stephen Larkham. He hasn't kicked a lot tonight. He's been running. But on that occasion, he needed to get the Wallabies out of their half.
Well, 2 of the ominous developments for Australia have been Stephen Larkham and his very accomplished display, and also David Lyons at number 8. But again, these woes continue for Mario Ledesma. How long before Federico Mendes comes on?
Now this is where the Wallabies, with 20 minutes to go in this game, have to put their foot on the pedal and have to start building phases. They need to get to 4, 5, 6 phases to put the defence under pressure.
So Bill Young going down on one knee. Have to keep your head above the level of the hips at the scrum engagement.
You have to give Paul Honus his due tonight. Hasn't he been fantastic? He's been really talking to the players. Everybody knows exactly where their place is.
Better scrum from Argentina. Well cleaned up there by David Lyons. So George Gregan. Larkham. Flatley. It was not a good pass. Round the ankles there of Rogers, and composure was needed by the Wallabies.
Handling errors. They had the break, they had the numbers, they had good ball. Shocking pass. The 13th handling error. Bad number.
Right idea, but just the execution let them down. They looked like they stood very flat then, the Wallaby backline, as the Argentinian coach looks on.
Well, Flatley rightly trying to execute the quick hands. Cut out pass.
It's always going to be difficult against the Argentinian backline, who usually play a man-on-man defence, which means they're coming up very quick and taking the man right in front of them and putting them under pressure. So they're not drifting in defence, but Australia need to just hold their depth a little bit so the ball can move a little bit wider.
You hear the whistles, the wolf whistles in the background from the girls in the crowd as Brendan Cannon strips off in front of 80,000 people to put on a new pair of trousers.
Donald, where's your trousers?
I think there's a few men as well, Krause.
Longo. So a better scrum again from Argentina. This is Martin. They're starting to muscle up in the forwards and take Australia on up front. Ledesma just happy to pick and drive. Contepomi.
Australia have to make the tackles. They can't be falling off too many tackles. They must move up.
Corletto coming in there, and now Fernandez Lobe. And what about poor little Albanese out on the wing?
He looks
He
like
must
he's
have caught a cold.
Yeah, he should put his tracksuit on.
Ledesma slipped it back in field. And he said, "No, I didn't, sir. I threw the ball backwards." And I think he has a strong case there.
Albanese is that far out. You'd have to send him a letter to get a message, wouldn't you?
Now, watch this pass. Watch his hands. Does he throw it forward? He says, "I shifted the ball backwards." And you've got to agree with him, really. Tough ball. Now, Argentina has overtaken Australia in the possession stakes.
And that's a statistic that I'm sure Eddie Jones will look at full time. He'd want this Wallaby side to keep the ball in hand a little bit more. They've got some fantastic attacking players. They can't attack without the ball.
There's all sorts of tricks going on in the front row there, and Hassan, he wants to be very careful. He's tried pulling Bill Young forward on the loose head of the Wallaby scrum, and then he's rolled in and down. Needs to be pretty stable here. He's gone down again.
So Ben Darwin looks as though he's set to come on the fields as Dan Vickerman takes it towards the 10-metre line. Now Rogers from inside his 22. And getting a nice outswinger on that one. So 10-metre line, Argentine territory. They're enjoying this wrestle with the Australian forwards, just sapping the energy, but Albacete and Fernandez Lobe there slipping it back. Contepomi. Rogers. This is Burke. Sailor inside. Now Roth. Rogers saying kick it ahead, but Burke supported. There's a good chance for the Wallabies here. Flatley to Larkham. This is Sharp. Smashing into the Argentine defence. 24 out. Gregan to Larkham and Roth. Execution again. Australia's downfall.
That was thrown like an absolute rocket at Joe Roth then. A man coming at speed, only 2 metres away, and they're throwing it 1,000 miles an hour.
Great build-up.
Was lovely build-up. Wendell Sailor, Joe Roth back inside to Matt Burke, and Matt Burke did well to control the ball and place it back, but then it broke down on the next phase.
You can have all the training you want over 2 months, but there is no substitute for actual game time. Test match atmosphere, and the Australians have looked decidedly rusty tonight with their finishing.
Here we see Matt Giddo coming onto the field, replacing Stephen Larkham. Great opportunity for Matt Giddo to show what he can do on the field. Well played, Stephen Larkham, tonight.
So it's 17-3, Australia in the leads. So little Matt Giddo is on for Australia, the 21-year-old who debuted against England last year at Twickenham, playing at fly half now in place of Stephen Larkham.
It was interesting to hear yesterday from one of the players that Stephen Larkham didn't train yesterday with the team. He was sick in bed, so he's done well to play 60-odd minutes tonight.
And the beauty we see about Larkham tonight also is when it's the Larkham of old, just starting to bubble to the surface. He's left from where he left off in '99 at the World Cup. He's starting to get back to that old form. When he takes the ball at speed, he can cause some dead set havoc to the opposition backline.
Well, the key is for Stephen Larkham running with the ball in 2 hands, and he's done that well tonight.
This is Ledesma, another scrappy line-out win for Argentina. Albacete takes ahead. Longo. But the Argentinians have looked pedestrian with the ball in hand. They've played it very close to their forwards, seemingly not having confidence in the men out wides. Roberto Grau. This is Corletto, trying to get involved from fullback. but comfortably met by the Wallaby defence.
Just continually recycling the ball and finding forwards in the back line and not being able to get the continuity that they want, Argentina. If they're going to break this line,